Ordinarily, they don't have the personnel to match up with Westwood. I don't think they will today either. They're well-coached, excellent coach, Bob Lord, a well-known and well-liked and well-respected coach around the league. And they'll make it interesting.
I think we should keep it.
All right, we're still waiting for the captains to meet at midfield. I guess the officials have a few things they're trying to get squared away between themselves.
The Westwood captains we can set for you at this time. Number 64, Jeff Roberts. 71 is Scott McIntyre. 44 is Mark Thurman.
Where's the crowd?
And Joe Bean is 55.
And as the roster that we have for Ashland does designate who their captains are, we're going to have to just skip on over that unless they come out. Sorry, guys.
We'll set them for you when they get to midfield, if we can. Roger, you weren't there for last week's game.
I saw them on the cable cast.
You did see it.
Yeah.
You did see it. Then then I think you saw what we saw, which was the Westwood offense doing pretty much what it wanted.
Surprisingly so. I mean, Dover has always got a pretty good program, and Westwood was just surprisingly, well, I shouldn't say surprisingly strong, because they're expected to do well in the league this year. A thing that surprises me, to some extent, is the Bellingham team. A lot of good kids back from last year. I expected them to beat Hopkinton as well. What, as I said, surprised me was the amount of points they put up against Hopkinton.
Now, they certainly wore them down. Dan and I both saw in the game last Saturday morning. In the second half, Bellingham was the much stronger team. It was obvious.
They've got momentum going with them now, too, because they've been the dog in the league for a lot of years. And when you get a situation like that where you've got a team that's been nowhere for a lot of years and all of a sudden they come into a situation where they're a pretty tough team, it just helps the program that much more. And these kids know that they go out on the field every week now, they're going to have their hands full, and everybody that plays them is going to have their hands full. And I tell you, it's almost frightening sometimes when you get a team in that situation.
Well, it is. It's really something to see down there, too, because the whole town of Bellingham just shuts down now on Saturdays. Before, just a couple people would show up, but the whole town now shuts down to go to the Bellingham games. And just another personal note, our condolences go out to head coach Bob Lord from the entire Westwood football program. He had, his wife had baby twins a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately one of them passed away just after birth. So our condolences to him and his family.
Still waiting for the captains. Okay, now we've got the Ashland captains coming out, and it's number 22, Phil Bellatoni, and number 17, Jim Winsman. Captains meeting at midfield for Westwood, number 55, Joe Bean, number 44, Mark Thurman, number 64, Jeff Roberts, and number 71, Scott McIntyre. Number 17 for Ashland is Jim Winsman, and number 22 is Phil Bellatoni.
There's a hole in the field where the water sprinkler is, and we're going to get a piece of turf and put it down on top of that, and we'll be ready to play.
Okay.
It'll be a few minutes away.
Joe Guerin, AD here for Westwood, explains to me that the delay in the game has been caused by a divot in the field where the sprinklers are, so they're going to be getting some turf and some dirt to cover that over so that it does not present a health hazard. So that we may have a few minutes delay here.
The Westwood field is the new field that they've just put in 2 years ago, and it's in fine shape and has really held up well through what now is one game, one varsity contest, and the field is in excellent shape.
It's funny that they'd hold up a game for that little hole. I mean, you get to some of these fields out the Tri-Valley League, and a divot like that is expected around. They're all over the field.
Westwood has won the coin toss, and they have elected to receive, which is not surprising. Now, this should be a very good game for the Westwood offense. As you were talking a little bit earlier, Bill, they're not a very good team. They don't have a lot of size. They don't have a lot of experience coming back from last year. We're not trying to sell them short. It's just that this is the reality of the situation, and this should be another good offensive game as well as a defensive game for Westwood.
Yeah, Ashland is one of those programs that's been down for a long time, and they'll have their day as the population increases, which is what happened to Bellingham. Bellingham very quietly became the largest high school in the league, and that can at least be credited in part to their along with the good coaching job done by Chuck Missler to their success. Looks like we're ready to get underway. The field's been repaired, and we're going to have some football.
All right. Now, one individual we want to take a look at today is the case, Tom Murray, number 77, filling in for Brad Pindell, who's been out injured or is out injured. And, boy, he's a big guy. He's 15 years old, and he's 6'5", 250 pounds.
Well, Tom is a very, very big kid. He's a pretty agile kid. He's played some basketball, and he's got some of those basketball skills. He is young, and he played well last week in spot appearances, and we'll have to see how he holds up in his first full game.
Back to receive for Westwood is number 41, Brett Jacobson, and number 15, Tom Despinoza. Kicking off for Ashland is number 84, Sean Mispelli. And we're about to get underway as Sean Mispelli kicks short, and it will be picked up by
Brendan McCarthy.
Number 43, Brendan McCarthy, gets his hands on it finally, brought down at about the 22-yard line of Westwood by number 71, Jason Coxall.
That's Brendan had a couple of those last week, or he had one of the. Yeah, he had two of them last week. Kicked to him. It's been a hot spot. That second tier.
All right, 1st and 10 for Westwood from their own 22-yard line. Warren is the quarterback. Joe Bean playing with that injured left hand, center. Quentin Scott in the backfield.
Along with Burl and Mullen.
Andy Mullen. And I was going to say Werner Burl. Another fine running back for Westwood a few years ago. And he gets the first down, brings it out to about the 44-yard line.
Walter Burl, again, that inside handoff has been a strong play for them all season with Walter running up right up the gut. He picked up 99 yards last week, running just like that.
44-yard line.
That's kind of a new wrinkle off of it, though. That's a quick inside give, and then they carry out the option fake to this side. And if you're geared up to stop the option, something like that can really catch you by surprise.
Wide receiver for Westwood on the left side is 82, Kyle Kallenberg, and there's Quentin Scott with the ball, number 33, trying to get around the end. He's got a little bit of room. He's still up and finally brought down at about Ashland's 42-yard line. We have one flag on the field, however.
That was really a great run, Roger, by Quentin, because when he got down there, he followed his blockers, and he actually almost came to a complete stop and looked for his blockers before he started again.
Yeah, he did. If that's not holding on Jeff Roberts, I'll be very surprised. I think that's who they caught.
Holding is the call against Westwood. We have a report here that Dedham upset Walpole 20-14.
Well, that Dedham team.
And that is a big upset.
That Dedham team's another one that's been down for a long, long time, and they came out this year and they beat Natick for the first time in recent memory, and now they've beaten Walpole. So we got to believe that they're for real.
Okay, bringing the ball back on that penalty for holding against Westwood. That'll bring the ball back to Westwood's 36-yard line, where it will be 1st and 20. 1st and 20 for Westwood from their own 36. Kallenberg out wide left again. Warren dropping back the pass in the pocket, looking to his right. Kallenberg with the reception, brought down at Ashland's 40-yard line.
Well, that time Ashland brought a linebacker, and they still couldn't get to him.
Kyle Kallenberg, number
and that
82.
That left that blitz left the man-to-man coverage on the outside, and they just weren't able to stay with Kallenberg. Well-thrown ball.
Nice thrown ball, nice route run by Kallenberg, too. He did a nice little out and turned around and came back. And Greg Warren, who earlier in the season had his problems with his accuracy, has really calmed down.
Had great protection in that play.
Yeah, if you're going to blitz, you can't give them that kind of time, or you're going to get one-on-one coverage all over the field.
Quick handoff to number 24. Oh, wide open in the middle. Brought down at about the 15-yard line, 10-yard line by number 22 of Ashland, and that's Phil Bellatoni.
Mullen came through an enormous hole, and it looked almost like he was running downfield, weaving side to side, looking for somebody to hit, and there just wasn't anybody there.
Wide open.
Andy, I'll tell you, Andy, if he has a choice, he sometimes would prefer to run over people and run free like that.
That's a pullback for you.
1st and 10 Westwood from their 15-yard line. Warren to Burrow. Fumble on the play. Flags 2.
That was
recovered by Ashland.
That's a variation on that little counter move that they ran so effectively last week against Dover Sherborne. That time it was a little bumping in the backfield. I don't know how the ball came loose, but come loose it did, and Ashland's on it.
Yeah, that looked like the timing was just a little bit off on that play, and Walter maybe got a late start. He never really got a handle on the ball when it was handed off to him.
We have 1st and 10 for Ashland from the 15-yard line.
The Ashland left defensive tackle was through quickly to really cause that fumble.
Stayed his position very well. There really wasn't any place for Burl to go on that play.
Well, he didn't bite on the trap. He held his ground. He didn't bite on the fake, and that's what will happen on a trap
Okay,
play.
quarterback for Ashland is number 17, Jim Winsman. Again, one of the captains. In the backfield is number 45, it looks like, John Grant. 43, Joe Casula. Incomplete. Intended for number 23, I think it was, Jim Shepard.
And they're going to come out throwing rides. I think you're going to see that. You see that from a team that's going to be, they know they're a little overmatched on their lines, and they're really not going to get an effective running game. Dover came out last week doing the same thing, just a quick three-stretch off to try and throw the ball.
That time he threw into some heavy coverage. He had Sean Mispelli, his big tight end on the, I'm sorry, it wasn't Mispelli, it was Darren Norton, the tight end on the right side, running a little in pattern over the middle, and he was behind the linebackers, and he really should have been the receiver of choice. Don't be surprised if they come back to him.
2nd and 10 for Ashland from their 15-yard line. Quick handoff in the middle, going nowhere, stacked up by Westwood.
Ashland is historically like that wide dive play that where the quarterback has to really take a three running steps and get out over
32, Andrew Maloney.
And give over tackle.
Gain of about 2. 3rd and 8 for Ashland from their 17-yard line, 18-yard line, thereabouts.
It's Murray and Leonard on the inside for Westwood. McCarthy now at an inside linebacker along with McIntyre.
Billatoni in motion. Again, quick hard handoff in the middle, draw play. Number 23, the ball carrier, Jim Shepard.
Tom Murray did a good job on that play. He made the tackle. He just shed his blocker, just threw him right off him. And Eric's always said once he starts learning this game and really learns to get mean in there, the kid's going to be a force with his size. And he just threw his blocker right off and was able to make the stop. It's going to set up a 4th and 6 now for the Clockers.
And we've got a man down on the field right now, and it may have been the ball carrier, Jim Shepard.
No, that was a pretty good. That's a pretty good series for the Westwood defense. They haven't. They really gave them nothing. They had the one pass they threw well covered, 2 inside dives. I think Ashland's just trying to get their offensive feet wet here, and they really weren't successful adding this 1, 2, 3 and out.
Okay, punting situation for Ashland here. 4th and 5 or 6 from their 18-yard line, 19-yard line, we'll call it. Back to receive on the punt is 41, Brett Jacobson.
Brett's a sophomore. If he gets, I'll tell you, if he gets his hand on the ball in good order, he can really make something happen. Don't be surprised to see something big here.
Smith gets off a fairly decent punt, takes a nice bounce. Jacobson fumbles it, and it's going to be recovered by Ashland at Westwood's 42-yard line.
It was big, but not big the way I had expected it.
Fumble recovery by number
Well, you know what's
16,
funny about that is
Brian
last week,
1st and 10
I
for
think Brett got
Ashland
yelled at
from
for letting a punt
Westwood's
go just like
41-yard
that.
line.
When I think some of the coaches thought he could have fielded it. So on that play, when normally he would have let it go, he tried to make the play, and the ball just bounced off his hands and became a live ball, and the Clockers got there before any of the Wolverines could.
Yeah, that was just a case of the ball being misjudged. So it's a big break for Ashland early.
Well,
in
if
the ball
Ashland
game.
is going to have any kind of a clue in this game, they're going to have those types of breaks to go their way. Winsman calling long signals. Rolling out right for the pass. Nobody to throw to. Takes it on the run. Brings it up the middle to about the 35-yard line of Westwood. Where he is brought down by number 87.
That's Tommy Bean. That was Murray once again giving good chase on that from the right side through the line. Good pursuit.
Winsman
down
on the keeper.
quarterback and got a hand on him.
About 7. 2nd and 3 for Ashland from Westwood's 35. brought down on the play by Tom Bean.
That was good coverage by the Westwood secondary, and there's really no excuse for letting them pick up 8 yards on a play like that.
Second and 2, we'll call it for Ashland from Westwood's 35. Rolling out again, looking for number 22. Oh, and a great play to break that up by number 14, Brian Quinn.
Great play by Brian Quinn. Timed that perfectly. Got to the receiver just as the ball got there.
Incomplete
and put a good hit on him.
Bellatoni coverage on the play by Brian Quinn.
The best part of that play was that Quinn's timing was such
We have a
that
flag on the play.
even if the ball had been caught, he was right there for the tackle. He had the man well covered. He was behind him, and then arrived at the same time the ball did. That's an outstanding play by secondary
Well,
man.
Scott McIntyre saying the penalty is against Ashland, and it is against both teams, it looks like. The way he signaled it, but it was against Ashland.
Well, Dedham beat Walpole, so everybody's confused.
Now all we need to do is have the, is it the Patriots? Do they have a team? Have them win tomorrow? Penalty is against Ashland. That'll bring it back 5 yards to their Westwood's 41-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 7, 8.
At second and about 8. The rest of that
5 yard
defense
penalty
for
against
Westwood is
Second
61
and
is
about 8 from
Mike
Westwood's
Shays at
41.
the left defensive end. 44 is Mark Thurman at the right defensive end. You've got Ted Yabashio at one corner, Brian Quinn we talked about at the other corner, and Tommy Bean is the safety man in this unit. Jeff Roberts, 64, is the strong side linebacker.
Winsman to number 32, and he drops the ball, but I think he recovered his own fumble. 32 is Andrew Maloney.
That's that wide dive play Roger and Dana we had talked about that they like to go to. Out of a wide divide in the backfield, get the quarterback running right across the line for a wide dive play, almost an off tackle out of a dive route.
So now it'll be, yeah, go ahead, Dan.
That can be a tough play because he really has to extend that ball, and it's really just sitting out there. He has to put his arm. He's going to take 3 quick steps and extend the ball way out as far as he can to get in that running back's stomach, and if he doesn't, he could have a problem. So it's going to be 3rd down and 7 now for the Clockers. Wiseman dropping back to pass. He's got some time. And to the receiver. Oh! Brian Quinn with another great defensive play. Just went in and out of the arms.
By number 14, Brian Quinn.
Out of his arms. And it's funny. You can see that quarterback experience. Not used to catching. He's used to throwing it.
It looked like there was a big 6 on that play.
Brian had touchdown in his eyes, no question. He was. I'm sure he's a little mad at himself now, but that was. He was still right there on the coverage, which is where he wanted to be. Getting back to that wide dive play, the theory behind it is that you don't.
4th and 6 for Ashland.
You don't slant to the hole, and therefore you don't give the linebackers time to react. You head straight into it, and you're not as likely to have the linebacker fill. But as you say, it's a long run for the quarterback, and the ball is exposed quite a bit.
Smith punting, looking for the short punt, trying to angle it to the corner. Jacobson will pick it up at about his 7-yard line and run it back out to about the 15 or 16, where Westwood will take over 1st and 10.
And Mark Thurman was very, very close to blocking that one.
Jacobson.
He's come close all season long. There's a few of them that just missed by his fingertips. And the way he gets in there, he just goes, every time he seems to blow by that blocker on the end. And I think sooner or later he's going to get one of those.
I agree with you, Dan. I think it's just a matter of time. One little bobble on handling the snap there, and he sure had it.
Okay, we got Warren calling signals. 1st and 10 from his 17-yard line. Pitch out to Quentin Scott. Brings it up to about the 30-yard line, rather, where he's brought down by number 43, Joe Casula. Quentin Scott, the ball carrier, brought down by Joe Casula. 2nd and 3 for Westwood from their 30-yard line.
It's the only thing that's going to stop Westwood from getting out of the end, getting in the end zone today appears to be themselves and the guys in the striped shirts, because they look like they're doing just about anything they want.
Quentin Scott with the ball again, and a big run here by Quentin. Up the middle, steps over 1 or 2. Up over one man making a tackle there. 11, Chris Smith saving the touchdown on that play.
Again, Bill, like we saw all season long, great downfield block, and a big block to that time was done by Brian Narciso right about at midfield. And he just cleaned out that defensive back and allowed Quentin Scott to pick up another 10 yards.
That's a great run by the senior tailback. That really is something pretty to watch. He was shifting through would-be tacklers 3 or 4 times, and that's an outstanding effort by Quentin.
1st and 10 Westwood from Ashland's 41-yard line as we speak above the band, and that's Burl with the ball. And he brings it out another couple of yards just over the 40-yard line into about the 38 of Ashland.
Well, Quentin seems to be suffering no ill effects from what was a sore ankle, which he had the first week. He was limping a little bit, but he came back strong last week and he looks completely healthy today. And behind that big offensive line, he's not having many problems.
As long as that ankle stays healthy, that's the type of play we expect to see out of him all year long. Quick snap there. Quentin Scott with the ball again, trying to hurdle up over Ashland, but couldn't quite get up high enough for number 61. Yeah, really. Number 61 is a big boy, too, Paul Cavanaugh. Quentin's got the ball carrier, tackled by number 61, Paul Cavanaugh. That'll make it 3rd and 2 for Westwood.
Now, Westwood's really got a nice little drive going here with just under 4 minutes to go in the first period.
Quentin Scott with the ball again, trying to get around the outside. Still up on his feet, finally brought down by number 43, Joe Casula.
Dan, I don't know, Roger, I think they're setting up that counter play, that one they ran against, they ran successfully against Dover. I think that sweep was more of a sacrifice than a real sweep. And
Joe Casula, number 43.
I really feel that they're going to set that up, that play up.
From Ashland's 34-yard line.
Well, they're going to go for it on 4th and 2, but I think
they have to.
I think you're right, Bill. I think you might see that play right here.
Not out of that formation, we won't, so I'm wrong again.
Offsides, that'll bring him back 5 yards. Number 56.
V.J. Kelly just anticipating just a little bit.
That'll bring him back 5 and make it 4th and about 7.
Eric's going to call Greg Warren over to the sidelines. He's going to talk about it. I think he's going to definitely change the play.
Well, when you're in a situation like that where you've got less than 5 yards to go for the first down, the offense tends to want to go with a long count and see if they can pick up the first down the cheap way and draw the defense offside. Unfortunately, your own people have got to remember at the same time that you're going with a long count.
Well, now see if they change the strategy and have Greg punting.
Don't think so, but I certainly think they'll change the play, and I think they'll definitely go up with it here.
Maybe the hook and ladder? Looking
He's
for
got man
Kallenberg.
coverage out there.
Oh, right in his hands, and he drops it.
22, Phil Bellantuoni. He took a shot at that for the interception. If he doesn't, he really missed that ball. And if Kallenberg comes down with that clean, that's 6 points because there's no one between him and the goal line. So a big chance being taken there by a defensive back, and luckily it worked out for him and the rest of the Clockers.
1st and 10 Ashland from their own 39-yard line.
I think Warren could have released that just a little earlier. He had him open on the break, and he kind of held it just.
He threw it behind him a little bit too.
An extra split second.
Okay, Winsman, the quarterback for Ashland. 88 in motion is Darren Norton. Handoff to 32, trying to get around the end. Gain of a couple of yards. 32 is Andrew Maloney. Andrew Maloney carrying the ball for Ashland on that play. Gain of about 4. 2nd and 6 for Ashland from Westwood's 43-yard line, Ashland's 43-yard line.
Roger, showing a little rust.
Well, I'm coming out of the chute a little cold here, guys. I'll get back into it. I'm still having to read the numbers off the sheet here. By next week, I'll be all set. Norton in motion again. Winsman handing off to number. We have a flag on the play. That'll give me time to figure out who was running the ball. 43 was Joe Casula. Flag on the play, Joe Casula, the ball carrier. Against Westwood.
Yeah, that's offside, and I'm not sure who it was they cut. I didn't see it. I didn't see anybody come across the line. Could have been somebody who was lined up offside. It's hard to say. You see all that action in the Ashland backfield, and then twice they've shifted, gone into motion, and then once ran an off tackle, and the very next play come back with that lead dive play. The Westwood defense really isn't shifting at all, so it's almost pointless to do that kind of thing. It's the defense that is shifting throughout the secondary and the linebackers, and that may be effective for you. But Westwood is really staying right at home on it.
Hey, we have 2nd and 1 for Ashland from their 47, 48-yard line, we'll call it. 5 free yards there for them.
Winsman now calling signals on a 2nd and 1. Inside handoff. Maloney. It's going to be enough for the first down. Maloney crosses midfield down to about the 48-yard line of the Wolverines.
Number 32,
Ashland another
Maloney,
first down here this afternoon. 1:36 remaining in the first quarter.
Scott McIntyre.
We're still tied at 0.
First down, Ashland.
Ashland putting together a couple of nice drives. They get some help there on referees by that, but that inside running game has been a little more effective than we thought it would be.
Well, so far it has. It's just a matter of whether they can sustain it or not. So far they've been pretty effective. And I'm kind of surprised at some of the size they do have up front. They've got some big boys in the offensive line.
All right, first and 10 Ashland from Westwood's 49-yard line. Winsman pitching it out to Maloney. Maloney breaking around the right end, being brought down by number 75, it looks like. 79. 79 is Matt Leonard.
That was a real fine play by Jeff Roberts coming up from his outside linebacker spot. He really filled the hole where the ball carrier wanted to go, forced him a little bit wider and allowed Westwood to get him.
46.
Well, the only thing that's kind of funny is they're running right. They're running away from Tom Murray over on the left side. You'd think if they had Scott, they might realize that he's not the starter. And they've been running away from him all game. They've been running to the right side at where the experienced players are.
33 running into the game now. Doug Fuller.
If we didn't know it, you couldn't prove by me that he wasn't the starter. He's playing
looking
quite
to pass. It could have had a flag.
That's way overthrown.
That
It could have been Roger, but I don't believe the
incomplete.
The ball would have been able to be caught in bounds. It really would have been kind of a chippy flag to
coverage on the play
throw.
by Brian Quinn. Timeout called by Ashland. We had a timeout on the play here called by Ashland. Third and 6 for Ashland from Westwood's 46-yard line. We are going to take a commercial break and come right back.
How we doing, Coach?
Stand up and cheer. It's live college football on the ESPN. Every Saturday, America's hardest-hitting roster of nationally ranked powers provides exciting action on television's best college football schedule. Defending national champ Penn State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and UCLA are some of the top teams you'll see live in action every week. Join the cheering fans for top college football. Saturdays on the ESPN.
Like there.
Yeah, we'll go back. Okay. And we're back on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here at Westwood High School. 22 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We're still tied at 0. The clock is with a 3rd and 7 from the Wolverines' 46-yard line. Beautiful fall foliage in the background. It really has been a gorgeous, gorgeous weekend. I think since sometime in May we haven't had a lousy weekend.
Well, the Saturdays have been nice. The Sundays haven't been so hot.
Winsman now rolling to his left, throwing back across his body to Murray down the left sideline. Murray with the reception, he gets down to the 24-yard line. As Murray found that little seam down behind the linebackers in front of Brian Quinn, was able to come up the reception. A nice throw by Winsman.
Well, that's Maloney. That's a back out of the backfield on a swing. And as deep as he was, he still was linebacker responsibility at that point. And which is why people like to throw to backs out of the backfield, because ordinarily a linebacker is no match for a running back as far as speed goes. That was a well-conceived and well-executed play, and it was indicative of the kind of sophistication that we had mentioned earlier that Ashland likes to use in their offense.
So Ashland now, 1st down and 10 from the Wolverines' 25-yard line. Winsman inside handoff to Maloney. Maloney looking for running room. He's able to get ahead, pick up about 5 yards on the play down to the 20-yard line. Stopped by Scott McIntyre with help inside from Mark Thurman.
Yeah, that was just a straight off tackle isolation. I didn't see it, but I'm sure they probably X-blocked over there, lead the fullback, give to the tailback, basic football, and picked up 4 yards for him.
And that's the end of the first quarter. So with our score, the Westwood Wolverines nothing, the Ashland clock is nothing. As they move the chains, let's take this commercial break.
When people know that a story is breaking, they can bet that if they tune to CNN, we're going to be
punt. And he gets a nice kick away. So we're taken at the 45-yard line.
That was
by
Jacobson.
Scott Pfeiffer, and Brett Jacobson with a great play to bring down Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer had some open ground up the right sideline.
When I talked earlier about how Thurman faced up to the man and squared up to him, and that time he didn't, and the man did take the sideline on him. Jacobson quickly downfield with a good hit.
Pfeiffer with a 9-yard return sets up the Dover Sherborne Raiders in great field position. They'll take over 1st and 10 from the Westwood 36-yard line. 3:27 remaining in the first quarter. The Wolverines on top, 7-0.
And here's a big series for the Westwood defense.
Chris Pavlik.
Ball back and perhaps look for the quick strike.
As they march off the penalty, holding against the Ashland Clockers. It's going to set up a 2nd down and 16 now.
And more importantly, it moves the ball back outside the red zone, and where the defense, Westwood can play zone coverages in the secondary from back here. Whereas when you're close to the goal line, you're forced into man-to-man coverages.
That red zone being inside the 20-yard line, where teams will keep stats on how many times they can get the ball inside or get points from inside that 20-yard line. Winsman now long snap count, drop back to pass. He's under pressure from Jeff Roberts. And he gets the pass away, and it's completed out in the flat to Darren Norton. It's going to be back to about the original line of scrimmage, right down on the 25-yard line. Yeah. Good play by Winsman and under the pursuit by Jeff Roberts.
Roberts gave good chase and got there, and the throw was really made while the quarterback was falling down. Excellent throw. A lot of surprising amount of zip on the ball, considering he was being tackled from behind at the time.
Norton did a good job, too. He turned around. He came back, as we always say, he came back to the quarterback when the quarterback was under pressure and got himself open. It's going to be 3rd down now and a little bit better than 10 yards. Winsman split backfield behind him. Play action. Winsman with time. Close to the far sideline. It's going to fall incomplete. Intended for Darren Norton. He's going to complete the ball out of bounds. Good defensive coverage out there by Teddy Abaccio.
Yeah, they faked a counter play in the backfield and quarterback bootleg to the right side. That was really the only receiver he had in mind. He had 2 wide outs to the near side of the field trying to draw some attention, but that was really the only receiver he had. Looked like he had a run option if he wanted it.
Gentlemen, are you as concerned about Ashland at this point in time as I am? They look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really not, Roger. I think I agree with you that they do look good and they're executing fairly well. But I think the Westwood offense has just rolled so much that they're bound to put some points on the board.
Ashland has taken advantage of their opportunities, though, much more so than Westwood.
Well, it's still 0-0, so I don't know.
Winsman going to be hit under pressure, but he throws it out into the flat, and the ball is called complete. They call complete. I thought it was a little short. It looks like it bounced up into his arms, but the referee's right there. Phil Bellationi made the reception down at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, it looked to me like he trapped it too, but it's hard to say. If Westwood's in trouble now, and Roger, maybe you're going to be a prophet.
I'll tell you, that didn't look like a reception to me. I don't think that was a good one.
No, I thought he trapped it.
It did look like it was a little short hop. The referees were right there, though.
Of course, he might have had the sun in his eyes, but that would be kind of difficult where it was at his back.
So it's going to set up a 1st and goal now for the Ashland Clockers from the 5-yard line of the Wolverines. They're definitely inside that red zone now. 8:43 remaining in the first half. Winsman calling signals. Inside handoff is going to go nowhere as Maloney is stacked up. Before he gets back to the line of scrimmage, loss of about a yard on the play. I think 2nd and 6.
I think Ashland's making a mistake here to try and play power against power. It's the finesse game that got him down this far down the field, and I think they should continue with that and try and get into the end zone because mano a mano, they're not going to push Westwood aside and go in.
Mano a mano?
That's Spanish, Roger.
You're kind of an international guy, aren't you, Bill?
Yeah, I eat a salad first.
Yeah, he went to Taco Bell before he came here.
No habla español.
2nd down and goal. Winsman pitches out to Jim Shepard. Shepard trying to get around the far side. He's going to get nowhere. Teddy Abaccio came up from his left cornerback position to make the stop before he got back to the line of scrimmage. And Teddy's been outstanding from that position this year.
Yeah, Dan, you could put that tackle on an instructional film. That was perfect. He squared right up, went down, drove the shoulder in, didn't go for any of the fakes, forced the ball carrier to do what he wanted him to do, and just dropped him. That's outstanding tackle.
Teddy had an outstanding game last week from that left cornerback position.
It looked pretty good. I tell you, that Abaccio has come a long way. He looked pretty good last year, but what I've seen of him today is just remarkable.
Yeah, last week he had, as Dan said, he had an outstanding game, and that was an excellent play right there today.
On 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line, the Clockers are going to talk it over as Winsman goes over to talk with his coach, head coach Bob Lord. He's assisted by Ed Kavanaugh, Kevin Crocker, Jim McGuire, and Chris Pierce. Wolverines on their sideline talking Paul Carroll on the left and Billy Hollywood Lagos on the right.
Hooray for Hollywood.
Talking with their defense.
This really, what the play Ashland calls right now really depends on their kicking situation. If they've got a kicker who they think can get the field goal, then they may throw the ball. But if they're committed to 2 downs, then they may try and pound it a little bit on this down.
.7:23 remaining in the first half. We're still tied at 0, but the clock is threatening to break that tie right now. There's a 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Wolverine defense has stiffened the last 2 plays.
Well, they were 1st and goal from the 5, so being 3rd and goal from the 7 is it's not as healthy a situation as it would first sound.
Winsman now leads his team out.
I'd look for the ball in the air. I don't believe you call timeout to run a dive play.
Long snap count again. Pitches to Andrew Maloney. Maloney, option pass. And it's going to be
interference is called.
Going to be called pass interference by Tom Bean. Bean just got a hand on the intended receiver, Phil Bellationi.
Was it Bean they got,
right
or was it Bean or Burl that they got there? I'm not sure.
Tom Bean was the one who threw his head back when he saw the flag. So
they tried.
I think it was Bean.
It was Bean. Yeah, he tried to. He ran up the man's back. He tried to throw his hands up and like I didn't do it, but he did
it. The yellow banners are in the air by that time. It's going to set up a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line now.
Well, the ball comes out to the 2 I believe in
high
the
school
rules that we play by here. Be the 1 in the NFL, but it's the 2. NCAA I know is the 2, and I believe that.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. It'll be 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. The Wolverines, after looking like they were able to stop the clock, is on 3 downs from the 5. Now going to have the attempt to try it again from the 2-yard line. Winsman split backfield behind him. That's Rob Kelly, number 20, and Andy Maloney, 32. Inside hit up to Maloney.
No,
he's got daylight, and he's going to get in for the touchdown.
Ashland leads 6-0.
Well, you keep banging at the dam from that close, and sooner or later something's going to give.
Well, Dan, in a goal line situation, defensive linemen have got to get some penetration, and if they don't, it allows that little slide move to the outside, and that's what happened there.
You know, the thing that hurt Westwood most on this drive was the penalties. I mean, Ashland had some good plays, but Westwood hurt themselves a number of times during this drive as well.
They certainly did that. They're down 6-0. The Wolverines we'd better think about trying to wake up here in this next possession.
Sean Mispelli. Mispelli to attempt the extra point to hold from Chris Smith. Ball's down, the kick is blocked inside by Scott McIntyre.
If there's anything that might salvage something out of that drive from a Wolverine standpoint, that blocked extra point, momentum's a funny thing, and it doesn't take much to turn it, and that blocked extra point.
That's a big play for Westwood right there.
I agree. I really think
that might be the turning point.
It very well could be.
So with our score, the Ashland clock is 6, the Westwood Wolverines nothing. Let's take this commercial break.
I'm with the Bruins.
Kick off to after that long drive. You know, you're going to be surprised that you expect Westwood to come out and dominate a team like the Clunkers on both sides of the ball, and on defense they're really not doing it like we expected them to.
No, that's true. It's possible that they came out a little flat. If there's anything that'll get you out of that, it's having a touchdown scored on you, and in the fashion that Ashland did it, which was to drive the ball down the field. And as Roger said, with the help of the officials, but still they drove the ball down the field and put it in the end zone.
Mispelli, who just had his extra point blocked, will now kick off to. It's going to be picked up inside by Kyle Kallenberg. Kallenberg heads right up the middle of the field and gets the ball back up to about the 43-yard line.
This is pretty good field position for Westwood, and I would look for them to not panic, to stick to the running game, stick to Scott. And
gentlemen, I'm going to stick my neck out on a limb and say that's the last time Ashland is going to score today.
This is like having Bill Crabtree back in the booth making predictions on every
Roger's
play.
got the crystal ball out.
Okay.
I think they just aggravated Westwood with enough there to get them motivated to just go out and start manhandling Ashland.
Roger picked up a crystal ball in his honeymoon, and we're trying it out today.
So now Greg Warren, he just troops out, hand off to Quentin Scott. Scott, legs still moving, spins out, crosses midfield down to the 46-yard line of the Ashland Clockers, and the Wolverines come out flying. First down and 10. They pick up a first down right away.
Scott's really moving well today, and if Westwood doesn't stop themselves or the officials don't stop them, it's going to be very difficult to keep them out of the end zone every possession, it seems to me, and so far it hasn't happened.
First down and 10 now from the 46. Quick call, flag goes flying. Quentin Scott off left side, tackle. Gets it down to about the 41-yard line, gain of 5, but there's a flag down in the backfield. Defensive backfield, and looks like it's going to be against Westwood.
It's procedure, I believe, against Westwood.
Scott McIntyre giving the preliminary signal. Some people say, some linemen want to be quarterbacks, basketball centers want to be guards. I think Scott wants to be a referee when he goes up. He's always giving those signals to the sideline. He's always over helping the referees with their calls.
Well, the referees need help. They they make a lot of mistakes out there, and somebody's going to point it out to them.
Ball comes back into Westwood territory, going to be on their own 49. We set up a 1st and 15. 6:48 remaining in the first half. Wolverines find themselves in a 6-0 hole against the Ashland Clockers.
It's early. It's early.
Roger, the eternal optimist.
And we're going to get a delay of game here if we can't get Burles. There we go. Okay.
Quick pitch right to Quentin Scott. Scott with Andy Mullen out in front of him. Follows his blockers, gets around the corner, and is able to cross midfield and down to the 46-yard line.
Play was really strung out well by Ashland. They picked up 4 yards. Again, the motion, they went motion with Burl away. That takes an extra blocker out of there and presumably takes a defender with him. And the Ashland defense didn't react, so we're one man down on that sweep. That's just the scouting report must say that Ashland will react to that motion there, but on that particular play they didn't.
It's funny that they've gone away the last couple of plays, had an inside handoff. A couple times Walter Burl in the first play of the game, and then Andy Mullen had lots of running room right up the middle. High formation now behind Greg Warren. Warren draw to Quentin Scott. Effective play all season long, and again Quentin Scott picks up about 9 on the play. Going to be shot the first time by about a yard down to the 38-yard line.
Yeah,
39 of
I think he'll be
Clockers.
looking at about 3 or 4 yards. That's a good draw. The delay is long enough, and it's an effective play. Scott had quite a bit of room, picked up good yardage, good pursuit by the Ashland secondary.
As Dan was saying, they've gotten away from that middle game, and I think they need to go back inside and see if they can open up a little bit of a hole there, and then maybe go back to the outside to keep them off balance.
Yeah, I see.
Quentin Scott trying to get inside again. He's going to be stacked up immediately by Tony Filippo.
Well, you see the defense that Ashland is playing. They're using a middle linebacker. They're using on that particular play. They're using a 4-3 set with a middle linebacker. It's tough enough to hold that center spot that middle spot against Joe Bean with a down nose guard. I got to believe that if you run at that up man, you'll be successful, led by Bean up the middle.
We haven't seen a whole lot from Andy Mullen out of the backfield.
One play in the first series ran real well, and we really haven't seen him since.
Play action to Andy Bean. Warren with time down the right sideline, and he's got Brian Narciso, and Narciso gets down to about to the 10-yard line before he's dragged out of bounds there by Doug Fuller. Good play action there by Greg Warren. He had plenty of time to find Narciso out in the left flat.
Yeah, Brian Narciso's just a sophomore. That's a good pattern he ran. That was a good job bringing the ball in. It was also an excellent throw.
That's one of the few big plays Westwood's had in the game where they didn't have a penalty on it as well.
That's true, Roger. That is true. The play fake froze enough people, and the good blocking up front gave them plenty of time.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 now from the 12-yard line of the Clockers. Quick pitch to Tofi Shimada. Shimada following Quentin Scott. As a flag goes flying, Shimada fights ahead down to the 11-yard line. Picked up about 1 yard on the play. We get a flag thrown right at Quentin Scott.
Yeah, that looks like they may catch him on a crackback. I'm not sure. That's a clip. Okay, they got him on a clip.
The Wolverines just can't seem to stop hurting themselves with the flags.
Well, the bad thing is that it's the penalty. The good thing is it's still only first down.
Well, unfortunately, we've seen more flags here today than at the United Nations.
Roger's,
I'm back, guys. I'm back.
Roger's still on vacation. He's visiting the United Nations. He's going to the Smithsonian
Well, it
next.
is only too good to come back to America.
And that's going to push the ball back to the 25-yard line. No, back to the 30-yard line, 15-yard clip, where it's going to be first down and a healthy piece of real estate, 25 yards. For a first, the Wolverines continue to hurt themselves. 5:01 remaining in the first half. Ashland Clark is on top in this game, 6-0. A surprising 6-0 score.
Well, the key here is not to try and get it all back at once. Just see if you can pick up yardage with plays that are going to work for you.
Warren now going to run that option play to Quentin Scott. Scott, with plenty of room, gets back up to the 15-yard line.
The flags are everywhere, though.
Yeah, they certainly are. They've been throwing them on every play, just about, it seems.
It looked like it was offsides against Ashland.
That's what it was. Jeff Roberts getting in, helping the officials, pointing to the Ashland team. He had to figure it'd be something like that, an offside or a procedure call, because it was
thrown so quickly.
Immediately after the ball was snapped, the flags went flying. Quentin Scott was able to get 10 yards back on that play, down to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, this is a hard decision for the coach. This really is, whether to accept or refuse here. The option is you take your
a first
10,
and 20 or a second and 15.
Or a second and 15, that's right.
And it looks like head coach Eric Wolfinger has decided to...
He's decided the down is more important than the distance, and he's going to accept the penalty.
The referee was pointing the wrong way there to mark it off for a second, but now they march it off. So he will take the first and 20 now, rather than the second and 15. But that also shows, I think, a lot of confidence in your offense. You're not worried about that extra 5 yards. They really have shown no disdain for just going for these plays, and because I think they still feel they can do what they want and run the plays that they want.
I agree. I think they do. That was the first look we've really had at a pure option today, and it was even that was out of a wishbone and a little bit of.
Either of you notice how well Paul Carroll threw that flag back to the ref? I think he might have been an official at one time.
Quick pitch now to Quentin Scott. Scott heading up the left sideline, following some blockers, and is able to pick up about 3 yards on the play. Following the blocks of V.J. Kelly and Andy Mullen.
Well, now all the second guessers can say shouldn't have taken the penalty. It would have worked out better with the second and 15.
So he's going to have second down and 17 now from the 22-yard line of the Clockers. Wolverines trying to get that tying touchdown on the board.
The board says 17. That's closer to 20 than it is 17 by where the markers are.
Play action. Warren with time, looking over the middle for Mark Devereux, wide open for the touchdown. Greg Warren with time. He just looked right, and Rob Kelly was coming right at him. He just kind of looked at him like, I'm not worried about you, and found Mark Devereux on a great pass out right over the middle, running a great post pattern, and the Wolverines tie it up.
Well,
excuse me, Bill. You know what I liked about that play is the fact that Warren stayed in the pocket, and he got hit pretty good just as he was letting the ball go. But he stood there and he took the hit and made a beautiful pass to Thurman.
Yeah, he did. Tight end is going to be when you freeze the backer with a play fake. The tight end is a good target for you, especially if you've got action on the outside to take the safety's attention. That was a well thrown ball, good pattern, wide open, really, just like a long handoff on that one.
And Danny Sullivan, who's been booming him all year long, just kind of chipped that one a little bit. They hit the crossbar and bounced back at him.
I think what threw him off there is he stutter stepped just before he kicked that ball. His steps were off.
Now that's a big play as well.
Yep,
now instead of up one, we're tied.
We're tied at 6, so as they bring the chains in the ball back upfield, 3:35 remaining in the first half. Let's take this commercial break. Sets the ball up.
That was an important drive for Westwood. They overcame the penalties and still were able to put a score up to tie the game. This is also an important defensive series if they're going to look to get another one in before halftime.
Jim Shepard, 23, and Doug Fuller back deep for the Clockers to receive the kickoff of Danny Sullivan. And they're still using Adam Alves as a holder. Something we had wondered about last week.
Danny uses
Sullivan, shot kick. taken by Joe Calusa. Casula gets back about 2 yards, and the Clockers will take over 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, I'm not sure about why Alves is holding the ball. I know he uses kind of a funny tee that keeps the ball almost straight up, and maybe that requires him to hold the ball to be held. I don't know.
So the Clockers, who put a nice drive together last time they had their hands on the ball. Actually, the time of possession here this afternoon is going to be dominated by the Clockers. That drive they put together took a long time to get from start to finish. Winsman now, I formation behind him. Pushes out to Andy Maloney. Maloney's going to get nowhere. He's going to be dragged out from behind by Scott McIntyre. Scott comes up applauding his own play.
That's a play that's it's really an option play. It's a quick toss, and the tailback has the option of off tackle or sweep. McIntyre took the option away and came through the off tackle hole and nailed him in the backfield.
Well, I think that gives you an indication of just how quick Scott McIntyre is. He came from the other side of the field to bring him down from behind, and Scott's a big boy, and for a guy to get across the line and on the other side of the field that quick shows something.
Yeah, he read it very quickly.
It's going to be 2nd and 13, loss of 3 on that play. Winsman handoff inside to Jim Shepard, and Shepard's going to go nowhere. He fumbles.
Westwood ball.
Recovered by Westwood. Tommy Bean, alert Tommy Bean, fell right on the ball. And the Wolverines will take over on the first turnover by the Clockers this afternoon. 1st and 10 from the Clockers' 39-yard line.
So that's really a big down. Now Westwood has plenty of time to get another one in the end zone here with 2:45 remaining in the half, and being 40 yards away.
The Wolverines are going to come out in that shotgun formation. Greg Warren with Andy Bean right beside, Andy Mullen right beside him. Mullen just looking for someone to block. Warren with plenty of time. Those are kind of a wounded duck out there, but Brett Jacobson is wide open.
It was kind of funny to see Ashland in that umbrella zone with the linebacker deep, really playing a prevent with so much time on the clock. I'm kind of surprised that that they'd be playing that kind of a prevent. Jacobson on an underneath pattern just came underneath the umbrella and was wide open.
Jacobson did a good job. I think he saw that the ball wasn't thrown that well, and he did a good job of just cutting his route just a little bit short, and came back to make the catch.
Yeah, quarterbacks throw a lot of good balls that aren't caught, so once in a while they should be able to throw a bad one that is.
Well, that's to his credit. I mean, he had to have a lot of concentration on a wobbly pass like that. It's easy to catch the good ones.
Quentin Scott on the sweep right is able to cut back upfield for about 5 yards, following the blocks there of Matt Leonard.
Really a devastating block on the front end of that sweep. He took the force man coming up and just buried him.
I'll tell you, from game to game, Quentin Scott is just getting more and more impressive with his ability to read his blocks. He really is doing a good job of following his blockers now and using them, letting them get out in front of him and use them and let them make their block and don't outrun them.
We're going to have a 2-minute warning here.
2 minutes left in it.
Two minutes to go. We're tied at 6. As the Ashland Clockers started about the middle of the first quarter, went almost to the middle of the second quarter, putting their 6 points on the board as they drove 75 yards for their touchdown. Wolverines responded with a 20-yard touchdown pass from Greg Warren to Mark Thurman. And they're threatening again. After the fumble recovered by Tommy Bean at the 40, they're threatening to take one in again. They are now 2nd and 5 from the Clockers' 15-yard line.
This could be the counter play, Dan. Nope, with Burrow in motion.
That's that. There's a little counter to Quentin Scott, and he slips down. Brought down on that play by Brian McCoyne. Quentin looked like he just tried to put the brakes on and start again, and his feet slipped right out from underneath him.
Clockers are doing a good job. They're really playing it honest up front. They're not biting on the counter fakes the way that we saw Dover bite last week on it. No doubt the Ashland coaching staff saw that as well, because they are avid scouters. They're at every game in the Tri-Valley League.
Mark Thurman split wide left. Kyle Kellenberg wide right. Play action inside. There's a pitch out to Walter Burrow. Walter doing a great job pulling the ball in, and the pitch was a little outside, and Walter was down to get enough for the first down. He was brought down to play by Chris Smith. Chris still laying down there. He took a pretty good shot from Walter Burrow on that tackle.
That's the second time Smith has taken that type of a shot, and he's getting up slow. He gets slowed last time, too, so he keeps making those types of plays. He's going to be out of this game in the second half.
Yeah, Walter's not one to shy away from dropping the shoulder on. He's just a sophomore. A couple more years' experience, he might have had presence of mind to get out of bounds on that play. However, with the timeout situation being what it is, it's not really critical.
So it's going to be 1st and goal now for the Wolverines from the 9-yard line of the Clockers. 55 seconds now remaining in the first half. Wolverines trying to go on top for the first time today. Or now play action to Andy Mullen. He keeps it himself.
And they'll take time out here, I'm sure.
I don't know. I think that play might have been designed. It got it right back into the middle of the field.
Timeout called by Westwood.
Bill, you notice they took the ball from the right hash mark and they ran it right back at the middle of the field, maybe to set something up for Danny Sullivan if necessary.
Well, on first down with that kind of time left, I don't think they'd really be trying to set up the field goal. They may be moving it to the middle of they may have other reason to move it to the middle of the field. They may want to spread it out and run patterns to both corners of the end zone or something like that, and give Warren an option.
We're going with a play up the middle on this next one, gentlemen. That's what the crystal ball says.
The crystal ball says up the middle. I tend to agree. Westwood is not out of timeouts. I'm not sure how many they have left, but I think they've got at least one.
Eric talking with his troops on the sidelines. Head coach Eric Wolfinger, assisted by defensive coach Paul Carroll, Marty Conley, Billy Lagos, and Billy Congdon. Doing another fine job with the Wolverines. Wolverines 1-0-1 on the season. Big win over Dover Sherborne last week, 46-14, and a 10-10 tie with the Hopkinton Hillers to start the season.
That had to be disappointing, the 10-10 tie against Hopkinton.
It was very disappointing, but that was really one of the toughest games I've seen in a long time. It really was a blood and guts battle. Quick snap now, and that's Walter Burrow carrying inside. He's going to get about 5. He's going to get the 5 yards necessary for the touchdown.
Crystal ball comes through.
Burrow's a good, tough inside runner. That's a good play. Lead it back through. Go behind the big offensive line and let him get what he can.
So Wolverines take their first lead of the afternoon, go on top 12-6 with 34 seconds remaining in the first half. Good job of taking advantage of the turnover.
Yeah, it really was, Dan. They got it back with plenty of time. They used most of the time, and they ended up with it in the end zone now, and it'd be very difficult for Ashland to come back at this point and put one up before the half.
Ball's down, kick is up and drilled through. Danny Sullivan not going to miss this one. He's tried to kick that one into the Westwood High gym. So with 34 seconds to go and Wolverines on top 13-6, let's take this commercial timeout. Danny Sullivan out spotting the ball, getting his own personalized tee out there.
Kicking off the Westwood, number 23, Jim Sullivan. Back to receive for Ashland, 23, Jim Shepard.
Jim Shepard and Doug Fullett back deep for the Clockers.
Westwood kicks from just inside the hash mark. They usually try and kick to the left side to the where you've got the two extra, or in this case with the holder, one extra kickoff coverage man coming down. You try and kick it across field ordinarily.
Danny Sullivan with a nice boot downfield, going to be taken there by Jim Shepard. Shepard with some running room, still on his feet. He gets the ball back out to about the 36-yard line before he's finally brought down.
That's about the most success we've seen anybody have against the Westwood kick coverage team. Westwood special teams have really played well so far this season.
And Bill, while we were at the break, it's funny. Why don't you tell us what you said at the break about the kickoff?
I said that there's a little psychology involved. When Dan missed the extra point, he came back and really didn't get the good foot on the following kickoff. After he drilled that extra point, I said I thought he'd come back here and get a good kickoff away, and my crystal ball's working too, Roger.
Well, crystal balls are 2 for 2 today.
Doesn't matter, soccer style. They keep the top of the foot anyway.
Jim Winsman now finding his team behind for the first time today. Inside handoff to Andy Maloney. He's going to go nowhere. As it's stuffed there by Brendan McCarthy and Jeff Roberts.
Looks like Ashland's going to be content to run the clock out here.
Yep, 10 seconds now, 9, 8.
They won't even come out of the huddle, I don't think, except maybe to throw one last long one.
Well, they better hurry up. This time is running out here. And that's going to be it, and they're not going to get that play off. So at the half, the Wolverines go into the gym leading 13-6 over the Ashland Clockers. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with second half action.
Mistakes, most notably penalties that occurred during key points on a couple of drives early in the game. Seemed they were moving the ball at will, but couldn't get any points on the board. The Ashland score, I think, did wake them up, and I think Roger commented at that point that missed extra point by Ashland could be the turning point, and it really seemed to be, because Westwood came down on the next possession and scored, and then capitalized on an Ashland turnover just before the half to take a 13-6 lead.
Wolverine captains out there in midfield again. Scott McIntyre, a little tired getting out there. 64 is Jeff Roberts, 55 Joe Bean, and 44 Mark Thurman. Another nice crowd on hand here this afternoon supporting the Wolverine football team.
It's beautiful. It really is a glorious day for football, particularly for this time of year. It's unseasonably warm, and it's bright sunshine and very little wind.
When somebody says typical football weather, this is what football was made to be played in.
Well, the game was made for days like this, that's for sure.
But it's a lot more fun playing in the mud sometimes, I'll tell you.
I've heard that. I never really believed it.
Yeah. The announcers always say that. The players aren't having that much fun now.
At the start of the second half, Westwood will be kicking off to Ashland.
As Danny Sullivan leads his kicking team out into the field.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'll be there at 9 o'clock, Paul. I'll be in the gym, has to pick my mother and my sister.
Back to receive for Ashland will be number 23, Jim Shepard, and number 43, Joe Casula.
Joe Casula and Jim Shepard back deep for the Blockers. Casula is a deep man, 43. Andy Maloney is on the far sideline, number 32, and Shepard in their sideline, 23.
Adam Alves holding the ball again. Sullivan again should be kicking towards the near side of the field, across the field from with the ball lined up on the right side. And
nice
again,
end-over-end kick going to be taken there by Shepard at about his 27-yard line. He heads back upfield and he's hit. Initially on the play, hit by Mike Totino and brought down eventually by Mike Shea.
Yeah, that was Mike Totino really getting down there fast, and it almost doesn't matter whether you tackle the man or not if you're the first man down there. As long as you knock him off stride, get him to spin as Mike did there, he's not going much further.
So the Clockers are going to take over 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. First drive of the second half.
The Westwood defense is unchanged. We'll set them for you again, though. It's Matt Leonard down inside. I'm sorry, they're not unchanged because Tom Murray is not in.
Yeah,
VJ Kelly is in at the other down spot. Got Thurman and Shea at the ends.
Winsman on the reverse, hands it off to Maloney. Maloney gives it to Shepard, and Shepard's going to get nowhere as he's crushed on the inside, brought down by VJ Kelly and Scott McIntyre.
Yeah.
VJ doing a good job of stifling that play, but just after he tried to get back, he was right about back to midfield. VJ was through there. You got to make sure in that reverse that you clean everyone out there, because one of those linemen get through and he's going to be standing there just waiting for the ball to come back at him.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And if the defensive end plays it smart and forces the play to slow down, then you have time for those linebackers to react. And that's what happened there. Thurman did a good job. They didn't fool him, and then McIntyre and Kelly had plenty of time to get there.
Second down and 14. Winsman with some time throws the ball downfield, and it's caught at midfield by Phil Bellationi. It's across midfield. Good play action there by the Clockers, by Winsman. Held up the defense, and Bellationi ran a good route and came back to the ball for the reception.
Yeah, he came back to the ball. Brian Quinn was a little late to turn on the ball. He didn't really get his eyes back towards the quarterback, and Bellationi turned back underneath him and caught the ball for a first down. Really good throw and a good play by the receiver. He's shown us something today, Bellationi. he's a good ball player.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 now from the Clockers from the Wolverine 49-yard line as they cross midfield again. Winsman again with that play action, rolling to his right. It's going to be pursued there by Mike Shea. And finally brought down by Jeff Roberts, but not until he picked up about 4 yards. About 3 yards down to about the 46-yard line.
Mike Shea.
Shea doing a good job of flushing him out of the pocket, and good job by the secondary to have everyone covered.
Yeah, Shea never quit on it. He did get beat on his contain a little bit, but nothing serious. He was still in the man's face, and he still did manage to run him down after just a short game.
2nd and 7 for Ashland from Westwood's 46.
It's going to set up a 2nd and 7 for the Wolverine, for the Clockers. Just over 8 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. 13-6 score, Wolverines on top. Winsman again with that play action, rolling back left. Goes
That's
on the flat, picked up by
touchdown.
Walter Burrell, and that's going to be 7. It's a race to the end zone by Walter Burrell, and no one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Wolverines! Well, he's been threatening to do that all day. A couple of them early in the game went through his hands, but Walter Burrell didn't miss that one. The defense put 6 points on the board.
Brett Jacobson set that play up. He was in there on the quarterback and really pressured him to get that ball off a little bit quicker than he wanted to.
If you notice, that was really the wrong defense to run that play into. Westwood was lined up in a 4-4. In a 4-4, they've got three deep backs, and they've also got the 2 outside backers, Burrell being 1 and Roberts on the strong side, dropping off into the flats, and that's just the right defense at the right time. Paul Carroll for having the right call on the field for that one.
Danny Sullivan now out of the hold of Greg Warren to attempt to add the extra point. Ball is down, kick is up and good.
And it's good.
That's dead solid, perfect.
So on the interception, a 55-yard interception return by Walter Burrell. The Wolverines extend their lead to 20-6 over Ashland. And we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Okay, we're going to have the drawing for the 50-50 raffle. If your ticket is run, we will split the money with...
And we're back. Danny Sullivan to attempt to kick off, attempt the kickoff.
Well, we hope he'll do more than attempt it.
And the ticket number is...
Danny Sullivan, end over end kick downfield, going to be taken there by Kevin Kane. Kane picking up, looking around, and he slips down. Kane kind of get himself in a lot of trouble there, indecisive, didn't know what to do with the ball. He was brought down there by Richie Shea.
Yeah, Kane's just a sophomore, and that's the first time we've seen him back there today. Kind of makes you wonder if there hasn't been an injury or something. What's the number?
You're going to have to just excuse us, ladies and gentlemen, as we were checking our 50-50 raffle tickets.
We're really, to get into the spirit of the game, we decided that we should participate in this raffle and see if we won.
Somebody claim this prize, we'll draw another ticket.
For my ticket.
Now everybody's down under the stands looking for their tickets.
Ashland ready to go here.
Yep. Winsman not concerned with the 50-50 raffle. He hands off inside to Maloney. Maloney just gets back to the line of scrimmage where he's brought down by Walter Burrell.
The Ashland crowd responding to the fact that one of their partisans seems to have won the 50-50 raffle.
$83 to the winner. The economy in Ashland will be just about doubled. Just kidding, just kidding.
Let's not make this a class struggle, Dan.
Winsman, quick drop. Goes quickly out in the flat to Paul Bellationi.
That's kind of a funny play. That's usually on a screen like that, you wouldn't have him out there by himself. You'd have somebody out in front of him, maybe in a wing, and a tight end slide in front of him or something. Really, the play really got more than it should have. The Westwood defense was there.
So it's going to be 3rd down and 5 now for the Clockers. He's made some big plays all afternoon.
Yeah, he's a fine football player. He really is.
Winsman now, split backfield behind him. Maloney and Shepard. That's Maloney in motion. Winsman now running kind of an option. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to go nowhere as Mike Shea's going to tackle him and his blocker at the same time. Great play by Mike Shea in his left defensive end position.
Well, Mike, in an option, when you're defending an option, ordinarily, if you've got a stand-up defensive end, he's got quarterback responsibility totally. Nothing else. Tackle the quarterback whether he has the ball or not. Corner will come up for the pitch man and the inside backer, and the tackle will handle the first option. Shea just did a real good job, textbook job. Came in, faced up to the quarterback, and took him out, fought the block. Excellent play by Shea, who, again, as I said last week, I think is having himself a fine season thus far.
Sean Taylor now to punt for the Clockers. A short punt. Good look out that doesn't hit a Wolverine. That's going to be down at the 40-yard line of the Clockers. Those short punts can be dangerous. It almost hit one of the Wolverines in the back of the leg, and he never even saw the ball.
Yeah, there was some pressure on the kicker, and that, I think, may have caused him to try and get that thing up a little more quickly than he might have otherwise, and that, of course, will lose the distance. You're right, though. That ball bouncing around, all that has to do is brush a player on the receiving team, and it becomes a live football.
Wolverines now take over 1st and 10 in their initial drive of the second half. They're on top, 20-6. Warren, quick pitch to Quentin Scott. Scott's just going to outrun everyone around the right side, using his blockers, and he slips down, but not until he picks up another first down to the 29-yard line.
Well, this is kind of the same way the game started, Dan, with Westwood dominating and picking up first downs at will.
Rob Kelly is down on the field. He's going to be looked at by the trainers. But Quentin Scott took that pitch out. In 71, Jason Coxell from the Clockers probably had, I think he was going to stop Quentin from behind. Had dreams in his head for a second, but Quentin just put the rotors on and was able to pick up 11 yards.
Yeah, defensive tackles aren't going to run Quentin Scott down from behind in any league.
Not too many players in the league are going to run down Quentin Scott from behind. Quentin, who ran a 4.5 40 in beginning of the season. And speaking of that 4.5, which is real quick, we're talking earlier about Scott McIntyre's size and his speed. He ran a 5 flat 40, which is not too bad for a kid this size.
No, 5 flat really isn't bad. It's he really for linebacker speed though, he really should try and take a tick or a tick and a half off of that. But that it is not a bad clocking at all.
Rob Kelly out there, he was looked like he was in a lot of pain.
Well, it looked like he tried to get up, and then something gave on him, and I don't know if it was his head I don't know if he's got something of a concussion there or not. The injured player, Kelly, got off the field with some assistance from the trainers, but didn't appear to be seriously hurt.
Inside handoff, Andy Mullen. Lots of running room. Mullen following this block is Kyle Kellenberg. It's a race across the end zone. Andy Mullen's going to get in for the touchdown. Andy Mullen, 29 yards right up the middle. And the Wolverines extend their lead now to 26-6.
That was a good piece of running by Mullen. He made an inside dodge and really set up Kallenberg's block and made the block very easy for Kallenberg to turn him into the inside.
And gentlemen, we are now seeing the brand of football that we expected to see throughout the first half. I just wanted to make a comment. You guys, nobody knows if I'm still here or not. I just want to say hi.
Well, believe me, Rod, they can hear you loud and clear in the background on that, the overhead booming microphones with the new speakers we've got here at Westwood Field.
I don't mind if you guys take the action. I'm still getting my legs, and what the heck, you guys are doing a great job.
Kick is up, and it is.
As Danny Sullivan tacks on his third extra point of the afternoon, Wolverines extend their lead to 27-6 over the Ashland Clockers. Hey, Bill, that's the play we talked about earlier that had run successfully a couple of times, and maybe they're just waiting to set it up, waiting for the right time, and it was successful that time as Andy Mullen was able to go 29 yards on that inside dive.
Yeah, it was the hole was wide open. Mullen was quick to it, quicker than he has been the last 2 weeks, and I think they really worked on him this week in that in practice. And he's been quick to the hole today in the times they've asked him to run with it. Again, he set up Kallenberg's block very well. Kallenberg turned the man to the inside and Mullen to the outside. And he won a foot race. So maybe we should call the papers. Now, Andy actually is surprisingly quick for a kid his size, and he's good hard blocker and has been a real effective runner today. And this has turned into, after kind of a funny start to the game, it's really turned into the kind of game that I think everybody expected.
Yeah, in the first 4 minutes of the second half, the Wolverines have tacked up 2 touchdowns, one on the interception return by Walter Burrow, and now the second one on the run by Andy Mullen. And you're right, it has turned into the blowout I think everyone expected it would be from the start.
And field goal 20 for Ashland.
Danny Sullivan kicks off, end over end. It's going to be taken there by Shepard. Shepard running to the far sideline. He's going to get nowhere as he's stacked up in there by Brendan McCarthy.
There's a bunch of people in on that one. Keenan Driscoll is down there quickly.
Driscoll in on there. Giving him a hand. Steve Lane. Steve Lane, who had an outstanding game last week on special teams.
Offside against the kicking team. That's one that really you really don't like to see, particularly if you're a member of the kicking unit, because you hate to have to get back there and do it again after making that run once. You don't want to have to run down there again.
So the clockers would like to have him kick it off again, and Danny Sullivan now will be kicking from his own 35-yard line. This is where the clock is getting a huddle, and Joe Casula just looks at counts him and goes, "Okay, guys, same thing."
You notice how Eric Wilfinger was joking around with the official? It's okay to joke with the officials when you're up and you're having a good time.
27-6, it sure is. He asked the official for a number, and the official said 179. Is that good enough?
5:49 remaining in the third quarter. Wolverines on top, 27-6. Danny Sullivan's kickoff is going to fall down and be falling on there at the 29-yard line.
Sullivan kind of undercut that kickoff, so when it hit, it really didn't have much bounce to it. It kind of sat down a little bit. But it appeared that Ashland was thinking about waiting for that to go out of bounds, which I don't believe it would have, and eventually they had to fall on it. They may have picked up a yard or two off the previous one, though.
So the Clockers now take over 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. Find themselves trailing by 21 points after playing a rather courageous first half and they're only down by 7 at the half, a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be. Jim Winsman has done a good job with leading his offense this afternoon. He's got 3 people in the backfield, hands off to Andy Maloney. Maloney's going to be hit hard initially by Mike Shea.
All kinds of green in on that one. That was straight power football. That was out of a power I, 2-back lead, popped it to the outside. There's just nothing doing. He's hit hard initially and then just swarmed under by
And he's hurt. And he's coming out of the game.
I'll tell you, there's one thing about this Wolverine team. They don't leave too many teams unmarked. I mean, teams really, they really beat people up.
Westwood is a very physical team. It really is. And they're perhaps more physical than anyone in the league. Although Bellingham is a physical team, as is Hopkinton, but Hopkinton took the worst of the Westwood tie.
Winsman would play action, completes it out in the flat to Jim Shepard up there, and Shepard gets the ball out to about the 40-yard line before he's finally knocked out of bounds by Brian Quinn. And that's going to be enough for the first down.
First down, Ashland from their 41-yard line.
Winsman throws a ball. When he throws it, it seems to be, they all seem to be weakly thrown for some reason without much zip on them, but they're all completed. They get there safely all the time.
Well, it's tough to throw when you're on the run, too. He's always rolling out. He doesn't have a whole lot of protection.
Yeah, the passes he's throwing are not long passes. They're not little dump-offs, but they're in that mid-range area, that 6 to 12-yard area. And those are balls that should be completed.
Inside handoff goes nowhere as Matt Leonard immediately crushed Joe Casula just as he got the ball. Casula, you can see walking over, he went over to Winsman and said, "Don't you ever do that to me again."
I got to believe McIntyre was on a blitz there. He got there, it seemed to me, too quick for just a quick read. I think he was coming all the way.
It's going to be 2nd down and 12 now for the Clockers from their own 39-yard line. Single setback behind Winsman. Motion right. Winsman under pressure again. Here comes Scott McIntyre on a blitz. And McIntyre drags him down at the 32-yard line.
About 6 on the play.
Well, you know, Every day, Paul Carroll will tell you, if you ever want to talk defense, Paul Carroll will sit and talk defense with you. And he loves to send people, especially now when he's up 21 points. He'll send people all day long.
Well, Paul's mixing it up well. At times he's dropping back in coverage and flushing him out of the pocket because the coverage is good, and other times he's bringing linebackers saying, we're going to get you before you even have a chance to set up. He's really mixed up the calls well. He's called a real fine game from the defensive side. He really has.
So 3rd and 18 now for the Clockers. Again, motion right, single setback. Winsman play action. Going to throw it up again, and it's going to go harmlessly out of bounds.
That was a zig when you should have zagged,
Yeah,
I think, Dan. Looks like he was the quarterback thought corner and the receiver thought post.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be 4th down and long. The Clockers will be forced to punt again. The Wolverines will get the ball back. 3:04 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Somebody got their signals crossed on that play because the receiver was cutting in.
Yeah,
he
that's
was
what.
throwing
Yeah,
out.
we just commented on that, Roger. It was a zig when he should have zagged for sure.
Why? I want to. We're going to ask to wish Kofi Shimada a happy birthday today. Kofi is 19.
Punt, nice spiraling punt taken by Jacobson at the 40-yard line.
Well
He's going to
covered.
go nowhere. As he's hit immediately there by Brian McCoy. Good coverage by McCoy on that play. Nice punt, actually. Nice spiraling punt by Sean Taylor. The Wolverines now will start 1st and 10. If they scored both times they got their hands on the ball. The defense got their first touchdown of the year earlier in this half, and they were able to drive down a 29-yard run by Andy Mullen for the 2nd touchdown up in the 2nd half.
I'm sorry I duplicated your efforts, guys, but it's tough doing the PA and trying to listen to what you're talking about. And,
Roger,
like I
you're
said,
the
I'm still
best.
getting my legs.
You're the best. We all know that.
I am?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I am. Right. Okay.
Roger, you've ignored me before, and it's funny how he never hears what I say.
What?
Inside handoff, Quentin Scott stopping and going, heading out to the right sideline. And Quentin Scott's going to pick up about 8 yards as Cal Calvary came back and put a nice hit on
That was
Jim Winsman.
That was Westwood was in the eye there. When you have the eye back, like Scott, you want to get him the ball as deep in the backfield as you can. So you line him up deep, and you make sure your quarterback takes the snap and sprints back, so he gets the ball as deep in the backfield as he can, so he can make the decision where he wants to go with it, rather than forcing him into the line with it. Scott made the right choice, picked up 6 yards out of it.
Yep, 2nd down and 4 for the Wolverines. Quick pitch to Tofi Shimada, the birthday boy, getting around the left end. There's going to be a flag thrown on the play. Shimada crosses midfield and gets down to the 34-yard line.
They got Jeff Roberts there for.
Jeff Roberts on the clip. He disagrees, but the referee was right there.
Yeah,
Flipping against Westwood.
I'd have to see it again. I'm not sure on that one. I didn't really see it.
Jeff Roberts there right in front of the referee. As that's going to negate the nice game by Tofi Shimada.
I was just going to say that. What you just said, I was going to say that.
Well, you guys think alike, and a lot of people have said that you only have one brain between you.
Well, when we want, no, we can't say that. When we want something from you, we'll squeeze you. No, we can't say that.
This is a family show, Roger.
Well, there's for sure there's no shortage of hot air in this booth.
So it's going to be 2nd down now and 12 for the Wolverines. Familiar triple option backfield. We're going to the quick pitch to Brett Jacobson. Jacobson's going to nail it up. He's got Mark Thurman open.
That's
And it's
interference.
gonna be interference, and the referee he's not going to call it. No one on the Westwood sideline can believe it.
Unbelievable.
That was an obvious pass interference. That was the ball hung a little bit. He was in the clear. Jacobson's pass hung a little bit, and he had to hold up for it. But he was clearly hit.
Yeah, because the defense does
before the
have
ball
as much right to the ball as the offense. But the defense, they were not looking back at the ball when they ran into.
No, that was clearly
Thurman.
interference. That was a missed call, clearly.
Ashland's first gift since about midway through the 2nd quarter.
So it's going to set up a 3rd and long, 13 yards for the first down. And they've run that play before. They've used Brian Quinn at that other back position.
That's how they opened up the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, Brian's a
something
natural to throw that being a quarterback. Jacobson has a fine arm too, and that was but that ball just hung on him a little bit.
Brian Quinn now dropping back to pass, looking out to the flat, and he's going to be smothered under by Chris Van Beek and Jason Coxell.
That was a mix-up by Warren. The screen was right. It was set up right. You can see the lineman coming back to the huddle from the right side saying, "What's going on here, guys?" They had set up a screen on the right side, and Warren looked it was an outside screen all the way, and Warren kept looking back left, and I believe that this play was designed to go right.
Well, he kept looking for Quentin Scott. He came out of the pocket looking for Quentin Scott right away, and that gave it away.
And Greg Warren is going to be forced to punt for the first time this afternoon.
Greg Warren punting to number 40.
Kasula and Shepard back deep. Nice
Great
punt
kick.
By Warren. Bellantoni with a nice move. He's going to be brought down by Tofi Shimada. There's going to be, I believe, a clip's going to be called.
Yeah, there'll be a clip called on number 43. That'll be Kasula, yeah, of the
Kasula with
Clockers.
V.J. Kelly from behind.
Shimada really showed good speed. He was flying down there when after the initial containment was beaten to the outside. He came flying down, made a shoestring tackle.
Beautiful punt by Greg Warren on that.
Excellent
high
kick.
arcing spiral.
Penalty is against Ashland.
Hitting below the knees.
Walking below the
It's
knees.
called. 51 seconds now in the remaining in the third quarter. Wolverines comfortably ahead, 27-6 over the Ashland Clockers.
And Ashland will be starting in a hole here and look for the Westwood defense to try and keep them there.
15.
Is that 10 or 15?
15 from the spot of the foul.
So add the 15-yard penalty onto that nice punt by Greg Warren, and the Clockers will start deep in their own territory. First and 10 from their own 25. Jim Winsman.
Quick out.
Quarterback quick out to
That's ruled incomplete, I
Phil
think.
Bellationi.
And the Westwood defense was looking for the interception there as they stepped right in front, and the ball just got over the outstretched hands of defensive end. I think it was Mark Thurmond out there.
So on the incompletion, it's going to set up a second down and 10. And I think, as we expected from the top of the game, the Wolverines are really starting to dominate on both sides of the ball, but especially on the defensive side.
Tommy Despinosa's checked into the game at a safety spot.
Motion right for the Clockers.
That's a live ball.
And Mark Thurmond looks like he got there first, and he did. And the Wolverines are going to take over. First and 10 on the fumble recovery at the 10 of, looks like the 15-yard line of the Clockers.
I'm a firm believer, Dan and Roger, that the benefits you gain by throwing the ball backwards are not worth the risks you take. If you're going to throw a screen, at least make sure it's slightly forward. I do not believe in that play at all.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that might have been designed to be an option halfback pass play, the way it was setting up. And it certainly didn't go anywhere.
Right.
The ball was just thrown right over Kasula's head. It was just a race between him and Mark Thurmond as to who was going to get there first, and Mark Thurmond did get there first. Now the Wolverines have first and 10 from the Clockers' 13-yard line.
It's Tom O'Leary split wide left.
Inside handoff to Lindsey Fink.
Lindsey Fink, the ball carrier on the play.
Ball's ahead for about a yard.
Yeah, Lindsey was lost to us for the first 2 weeks with an injury, and it's good to see him back out there.
Another talented running back. And a fleet of running backs that this Wolverine team has.
Brian Quinn's now in the game at quarterback.
We've gotten to a point in the game where Eric is going to start to freely substitute for his players. We're coming down to the fourth quarter, and they've got a comfortable lead. Why not get some of the other people in for some activity?
Here's
Quentin Scott on the pitch from Quinn going around the left side. He's got Shimada in front of him, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. Quentin Scott from 9 yards out goes in. The Wolverines extend their lead to 33-6.
You know, Quentin's one of those backs that can run laterally for almost as long as he wants to before turning it up, because eventually he's going to outrun you. You may stay with him for a step or two or three, but the longer he's got the ball in his hands, the more likely he's going to break it.
But the key to that play, I mean, he did run well and he is quick, but he had the blocking with him all the way, and that set up the whole play. You don't have the blocking or it falls apart. It doesn't matter how quick you are, the defense is going to get to you.
Quinn did a good job. Tony Shimano was out in front of him on that one. Sullivan now to attempt his fourth extra point, and he does. He makes it good. Now the Wolverines go up 34-6 at the end of 3 quarters. So at the end of 3 quarters, the Wolverines comfortably on top. Let's take this commercial break. Wolverines on top, 34-6.
And the quarter ended on that.
23, Jim Patrick. Ian Sullivan kicking.
That was the quarter. Okay, and the third quarter ended on that play, on the after the conversion.
Danny Sullivan to kick off. High end over end kick. Going to be bobbled and taken by Doug Fuller. Fuller looking for some running room. He's going to find nothing but green jerseys as Andy Muller drags him down at the 25-yard line.
Help from Mike Shea and Brendan McCarthy.
And again, 26, Stevie Lane was down there. Steve has really played outstanding on special teams all season long.
Yeah, Steve really got a lot of calls from us last week on his special teams efforts. Continues to hustle down there and make some things happen.
Substitutions freely made now on defense. Steve Lane remains in the game.
Mike Totino's in now at one corner. Lane at the other.
Tommy Despinosa in at safety.
Carl Kallenberg now into the defensive end spot.
There's that off tackle play to Jimmy Shepard. Shepard powers ahead for about 4 yards.
Keenan Driscoll in the game, Greg Amy.
Shepard is brought down by number 64, Jeff Robert.
Tom Murray out there again.
Number 58 in the game for Westwood now, Keenan Driscoll. 30, Mike Patino.
Fourth quarter just underway. Wolverines comfortably on top, 34-6. Jimmy Winsman calling signals. Little play action is going to keep it himself and fall down. A little bit of help on that play by Greg Amy.
Greg Amy coming in there quickly. The 68, Ryan Priori checks in for
Scott McIntyre.
For McIntyre. Adam Alves at the defensive end on the right side.
As Paul Carroll changes his defense. With a comfortable lead like this, he's going to get as many kids in to play as he did last week against Dover Sherborne. Windsor back to pass. He's got a little bit of time. He's got an open receiver. And Belliccioni, again, made a fine reception. Belliccioni's had a fine game out there this afternoon.
Well, Westwood's in that 3-deep secondary coverage, and they're trying to obviously prevent the long one. So what you end up with was Mike Totino man-to-man on the wideout. He drives him off and turns on the ball. He's going to catch that ball because Totino's obviously playing him for the home run ball. You're not going to make up the number of points they have to make up by doing that. You can see again where Totino on the near side is man-to-man with this wide out, and that would put the far side corner man-to-man on that wing back if he's in the pattern.
Winsman, quick drop inside, completes it to tight end Darren Norton. Second and 3 now for the Ashland Clockers. Again, I think right now we're looking at the same situation we saw last week, Bill, in that the Ashland coaching staff is just going to try and get some things done. They've got things they want to accomplish. You know, they're still going to play an entire Tri-Valley League schedule, so they want to accomplish some things, get some confidence with these kids. I think they expected coming in here that there was going to be a big score against them, so. Hand off to Doug Fuller. Fuller on the right end. And he goes untouched until after he crosses midfield, gets down to the 44-yard line of the Wolverines.
That was a good bit of running by Fuller. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen him earlier. That's
nice straight-up running.
Yeah, very. Seems to have excellent speed.
First down, Ashland.
Just want to check in. Still here.
Hi, Raj.
Roger's doing double duty as he's doing the PA announcing as well, and that's why you're not hearing as much of him on this telecast as you ordinarily would.
Well, you don't need to hear a whole lot of me anyway. You guys have got everything covered.
Pass almost picked off there.
Almost picked off by Mike Tatino.
Mike Tatino got his hands on the ball.
Bob. That was just a quick slant in from the left side, and quick drop, quick throw.
I'll tell you, this Westwood offense, so this afternoon, after being a little sluggish in the first half, really has looked effective here in the second.
Yeah, they really have. Their execution was about as good as it was last week.
There's Bellationi on the reception again, but he's going to go nowhere as he's stacked up immediately by Mike Tatino.
Again, that's an excellent play by Tatino. He didn't go on any of the jukes, squared right up to him and made the tackle. That's an excellent defensive play by Mike Tatino.
Third and 10 for Ashland from Westwood's 45.
So Westwood this afternoon doing the things they're expected to do. You know, there are games that you do expect to win. And, you know, you want to win them big, like we said last week. You expect to beat the Dover Sherwans and the Ashlands and the Medways and win them in a big way, and that's just what they're doing this afternoon. Winsman now calling signals. Third down and 10 from the Wolverine 45. Winsman being flushed out of the pocket, throws it downfield. It's going to be incomplete and a flag on the play.
That's got to be defensive.
It may be defensive pass interference. And that's what it's going to be.
No, that's going to be on the offense. That's got to be on the offense.
As Darren Norton switched from tight end to defensive back there and knocked down Stevie Lane.
Yeah, well, Lane moved into the passing lane. Lane was in front of Norton, and Norton just fought right through him to the ball. And you can't do that. It's as much, you know, at that point, as we mentioned earlier, it's as much Lane's ball as it is Norton's. And
Penalty is against Ashland. Offensive pass interference.
Good job by Lane because he really is mismatched by Norton. Norton is 6'3", 210. Stevie Lane checks in at 5'10", 155, so a great defensive job there.
yeah, and that play also carries with it a loss of down. That's really a killer for Ashland. Now they'll be forced to punt here with fourth and about 40, 35.
Fourth down and about 25 for Ashland.
Nice piece of Westwood real estate right there, 25 yards.
Well, it says
50 yards wide, 25 yards long.
And it's probably not as cheap as you might think.
Clock is forced to punt again. Tom Despinoza deep. He's going to take it on the hop and heads right back upfield. He's got a little gap. Despinoza now just has one man to beat, makes a move. Oh, and he just slips down. Despinoza just had to beat Jim Shepard to the end zone. As he cut back, he just slipped off his feet.
From our angle on it, we could see that hole open up for Despinoza and him sprint for it, and it was a question of whether he could get there before the tackler's conversion. He was through it and up the field. That was an excellent job by Despinoza. The ball popping up into his hands, he just grabbed it and went, and almost went the distance.
So the Wolverines now on top by 28 points. Take over first and 10 from the Ashland 32-yard line.
That's Fink, Shimada, and Jacobson behind Quinn.
Second man through is Shimada, and Shimada plows ahead to the 28. Brian Mann on the stop for the Caucus. There really is no drop-off at all. I mean, we hate to keep saying it, but from one backfield to the next backfield, there are probably three sets of backfields they could put in there.
Our Westwood depth is very impressive. Out there now on the offensive line, we've got Brendan Carty at center. We've got Steve Lund at one guard. We've got Ted McMillan out there at right tackle. We've Got Jamie McDonough at right guard.
The ball's free. As Jeff Johnson never got his hands on the ball, but he was able to fall on top of his own fumble.
Crystal ball says touchdown for birthday boy Tofi Shimada.
Okay, we'll see how the crystal ball's working.
There is one advantage to, when you do fumble the ball, if you're still on your feet, you're the first guy, you know right away that that ball's loose. So the ball was rolling around the defensive lineman's feet, but they never knew it was loose until it was too late. And Johnson had fallen back on the fumble.
Dennis Mason at left tackle completes that set.
Brian Quinn hands off to Tofi Shimada. Shimada inside. And Rogers' crystal ball almost worked as Shimada picked up 15 yards. And it's going to be down to the 15-yard line.
15-yard line of Ashland. A first down for Westwood.
Get Craig Dalrymple in there at a wide receiver. He kind of electrified the crowd last week with that touchdown reception.
Oh, he just turned on the motors, and he was, from the 40-yard line in, he put about 10, 15 yards between him and the defensive backs who were out there.
Tom O'Leary's at the tight end. Dalrymple now is split to the near side.
Wolverines remain in that option backfield. Quinn hands off to Jacobson. Jacobson is hit just after he crosses the line of scrimmage. Brought down the play by Jim Winsman. He's had a long afternoon, and he's going to go out. He's holding his right arm, which is his left arm, which is not a good sign for the Clockers, because he's been their starting quarterback, and you don't want to see him hurt, one of the better athletes on the Clocker team. He's going to be replaced by Brian McCoy.
He's holding it up in the bicep area. Hope that he just got a helmet there and it has a little bit of a bruise. He's
second down and 9 now for the Wolverines. Quinn, quick pitch to Tofi Shimada. Shimada falls back and goes back upfield. And he gets down to about the 4-yard line before he's dragged down from behind by Chris Van Beek.
Well, Roger, football coaches are human too, and I'm sure the coaching staff would love to see Tofi get himself a touchdown on his birthday.
That's why the crystal ball figured it that way.
Brian Quinn comes back from the sidelines with that play. I know Tofi probably hoping his number gets called also.
Well, there's so many backs deserving of a shot at sticking one in. You know, it's hard to decide who to give it to.
He's been with this program for 4 years, and he's paid his dues, and it's nice to be able to get out there and score.
That's true. The sophomores will certainly have their chances.
Well, inside handoff to Lindsey Fink, and Lindsey just get back to the line of scrimmage before he's stacked up by Mike McIver. I'll tell you, we were talking about Tom Murray before, but there are some big boys on this Ashland defense. They've been handled pretty well by the Westwood offensive line. But McKeever is 6'5", 245 himself, 74. Big boy out there. Wolverines now second down and 6 for the touchdown.
That's Adam Alves now split to the right side.
There's Tofi Shimada, and he spins in for... No, he's not going to get it. Oh, I thought he was in.
Somebody tell the refs it's his birthday.
He got down about the 1-inch line. Good play by Tofi, cut back up inside. That's twice he's done that. He's made a nice play. He's had the option to go either inside or out, and he's cut back inside behind his blockers. It's going to be third down now, and call it 1, but it's about half a yard for the touchdown.
You know they're going to come out with Tofi on this. They got it.
Yeah, you'd think they'd come back with Shimada here.
Wolverines trying to add on to that 34-6 lead. And there's Shimada, and he takes a hit.
And he's denied.
And he's denied. He stopped short. Oh, Tofi Shimada spinning and working hard on that drive. Was unable to get in. He must have got down to about the 1-inch line. And Ashland will take over from about the 1-inch line.
The crystal ball was, the crystal ball should have been right, deserved to be right.
Tofi did everything he could on that drive to get in and get 6 points for himself.
The crystal ball almost put his foot in his mouth on that play on the PA. He almost yelled out touchdown.
Tofi a little upset with himself. It was a fine effort, with good runs.
Well, a lot of distance remains between the Ashland offense and the Westwood goal line with 2:08 remaining here in the game. Drops back to pass, now down the left side. Good fine defensive play. That was Mike Totino again.
Mike Totino, intended receiver was Phil Bellantoni.
I don't know if they just like to go to the left side or that they're trying to pick on Totino or what, but if they're trying to pick on Totino, they're not going to make a living over there.
Tino doing a great job, as have the entire defense this afternoon. 2 minutes now remaining in that ball game.
2 minutes left in the game.
Wolverines comfortably on top, 34-6.
Well, between Yabasho and Totino, you think the Wolverines are in trouble with that right cornerback spot?
Not at all. The clock is now just a quarterback sneak by Winsman. It's good to see him back in the game. Probably just like you said earlier, took a bruise on that arm. And just trying to get himself some breathing room.
It's been a long, long afternoon for the Clockers. Got a particularly long second half after a good effort in the first half to keep the game close. This second half must seem interminable for them.
It's going to be 3rd and about 7 for the Clockers. And the Wolverines may get their hands back on the ball and give Tofu Shimada another shot. Winsman rolling out, looking for Bellantoni again, and he gets it there, but it's going to be dropped.
Ball a little bit underthrown. Again, Totino there on the coverage.
And the Clockers will be forced to punt again, so the Wolverines will get their hands back on the ball with just over a minute remaining in the game.
Well, punting from there could be a mystery. The ball's just inside the 5-yard line. You usually look for a 15-yard drop by the punter. That'd put him close to the end line in the end zone. That's always a dangerous place to be. He's checking now. He's looking behind him to make sure he's not stepping on it. That would
Sean
be a safety
Taylor, right?
if he stepped out.
Just about on that line.
Almost blocked. He got it away.
Gets a punt away. Short punt, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So the Wolverines will take over. 1st and 10 from the 24. And all the clean jerseys head out there.
When a punter knows he has to hurry the punt because of the rush, he really can't be expected to get a long one away, and he didn't there.
Topi's not back in the game. Well, it doesn't look like Topi's going to get that shot. He's not in the game.
No.
Number 8, Marcus Despinoza checks into the Westwood backfield along with
he's pretty quick.
Ray Ilg, number 9.
And there's Marcus Espinoza right up the middle, and he's going to get that touchdown.
That's Ray Ilg. That's number 9, the fullback.
I'm sorry, Ray Ilg took the pitch. Inside handoff from Jeff Marsh, and he went right up the middle. Same play that Andy Mullins scored on earlier. So the sophomore puts up 6 points, and the Wolverines extend their lead to 40-6.
That's got to be a big thrill for Ray. First varsity touchdown of his career.
First time he touches the ball in a varsity game, and he gets himself 6 points. So the third offense, all the sophomores and juniors out there, put up another 6. And the Wolverines cap off a fine afternoon of football for them by putting up another touchdown.
And it looks like the Wolverines have another kicker out there. It looks like V.J. Kelly's going to attempt the point.
This should be interesting.
Yes, this should be interesting.
Ball is down. VJ's kick is good.
It's good. V.J. Kelly.
The Wolverines having a little bit of fun out there as VJ tacks on the extra point, and he gets his first point of the season.
VJ gets up like, hey, it ain't no big deal.
He practices all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah, automatic. So at 1:12 remaining in our ball game, the Wolverines on top, 41-6. They bring the ball back upfield.
And it looked like Kelly was negotiating with Sullivan about this kickoff, and Sullivan said, no, no, no.
Number 7, Kevin Kane. And number 43, Joe Casula. And number 23, Jim Shepard.
Sullivan's now got a conventional tee out there, but he's still going to have, no, he's not, and he's not going to have Al's hold it.
Danny Sullivan to do the kicking off. Fine end over end kick. Taken by Mike Shepard at his own 5. Shepard heading back upfield, and he's going to be stopped immediately by Tom Despinoza. Despinoza drags him down after about a 10-yard return. And that's where the Clockers will take over with 1:07 remaining in the ball game. Well, if you're the Wolverine coaching staff and you want to make a statement to the rest of the league, you've made it these last 2 weeks. 87 points they've tacked up the last 2 weeks against an overmatched Dover Sherborne last week, and again this week, Ashland Clockers.
This has been a nice game to come back to.
Yeah, it really hasn't been much going on. Little excitement in the first half, or more trepidation than excitement about whether the Westwood offense would eventually get going, and they certainly did in a big fashion here in the second half.
Winsman's inside handoff is going to go nowhere as Kevin Kane is stacked up immediately.
That's Greg Amy hanging on there. That's good play by the sophomore.
And gentlemen, so far the crystal ball is intact. That was the last time they scored.
Yeah, that's correct. He said that right after it happened, and that was a bold prediction.
I'm a bold kind of guy.
I know, you got married.
That was the easy part. Paying for the bills was the bold part. Yeah. Twice, Dan.
That's bold, all right. Oh, boy. Time running down now. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. His time will run out.
That's the ball game here.
And that's it. So, with our final score, the Westwood Wolverines 40. And a 10-10 tie.
Let's go over quickly the scoring summary. The first score of the game was in the second quarter with 7:40 to play. Walter Burrell ran over from 1 yard out. Greg Warren kicked the extra point. It was 7-0 Westwood. Then the last play of the first half, Danny Sullivan kicked a 35-yard field goal. Westwood was leading 10-0 at the half. The third quarter, Hopkins came back. Chris Gabriel kicked a 27-yard field goal with 6:27 left in the third quarter, and they were behind 10-3, and then they tied it up the first play of the fourth quarter with 9:45 to play. That 74-yard run by John Donovan. That's how it stood.
And that's how it stood up.
Missed the field goal at the end of the game, and Hopkins just ran out the clock, and Tri-Valley League is up for grabs.
Yeah, it still is after one game. So after 40 minutes of football, we ended up 10 apiece, and that's it from Westwood High this afternoon. I'm Dan McCarthy for John Cummings. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week with more Westwood High football. Good night, everyone.